Good evening, Namaste. I welcome you all to this weekly webinar, Vichar webinar. Vichar webinar is an initiative of Federation of Indian Associations of Victoria. My name is Surya Soni. I'm former president of FIV and current trustee of FIV and AICCT. In my last 15-20 years of community service, I believe there was a gap of people to people connect. We firmly believe there's a huge pool of talent and wisdom in the community in Victorian state. So through this webinar series, weekly webinar series, we anticipate that lots of wisdom and talent is shared freely with the community. We introduce people, we connect people to people in the community. And the best part is once we listen to the speaker, if we like the speaker, we'll be so lucky we can just go for a coffee with the speaker as well. We can connect with the person and take the journey conversation beyond this Vichar webinar. So with that note, I welcome our great speaker tonight, Surinder Agarwal ji. Welcome, sir, for
Thank you.
accepting this webinar invitation for tonight. And you'll be speaking on happy life, healthy life. You have built a
Yes.
philosophy behind it. You've created an idea behind it with your years of experience, and you have got tons of experience. I'll briefly read your introduction as well. Surinder Agarwal, an integrated, widely traveled management specialist by qualification, multi-skilled corporate manager in tourism while in India, and an educator in hospitality, tourism, and events in Melbourne. An accomplished author on travel management, currently writing a book on event management with research-oriented mindset, an interest and event management consultant. A friendly and known community member of Melbourne Indian community with keen passion on community well-being. Actively involved in community social activities through Melbourne Polytechnic, local government, charity organizations, community associations, spiritual forums, other similar bodies. For example, IMG Flower and Garden Show, Oxfam, Tourism Victoria, WHO, Hindi Niketan, Sankat Mochan, AIII, World Spiritual Forum, Durban City Council, CIA, Melbourne City Council, AMIE, ATE, Australian Tourism Exchange, Holiday and Travel Show, MCVB, Australian Drug Foundation, Indian Tourism Board, CIA, Camping and Caravan, L'Oreal Fashion Festival, to name a few. So it's a very comprehensive list. We are fortunate to hear directly from you, sir, tonight,
Thank you.
with a tons of life experience. What we are going to listen from you is not theoretical knowledge. We'll be listening real, practical. You have lived through that life, and you're going to share that wisdom in this 1 hour session with the wider community. At personal level, happily married with wife, a secondary school teacher, two grown-up children happily married, and three lovely grandchildren. Diversity focused, global in terms of human, 18 to 85 in terms of age, cultures, religions, expectations, enjoys walking, public speaking, positive attitude, empathy towards others, willing to help and support any genuine cause, person in need. And now, at a life cycle, give back to the community. Sharing his passion, rich life experience, worldwide community research, interaction with people from different generational groups, public discussion forums, etc. The happy life, healthy life ideology, living in harmony with others through relationship management by public speaking, community group presentation, and community discussions on Zoom regularly. This aligns with Vichar philosophy as well, that once you reach at a stage of life where you have earned, you have lived your life enough that you are now so satisfied that you want to give back to the community. That selfless intention of giving back comes from most of our speakers. And once it comes selfless, community as a whole, we are at a beneficiary end of this. So without further delay, Surinderji, thank you so much for joining tonight. Over to you. We'd love to listen all your thoughts tonight. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Surya. Good evening, everyone. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a religious or spiritual speaker. I'm one like you all and among from you. But I have an ideology which I would like to share with you all today. I cannot guarantee, but I can claim because me and my wife have been practicing that ideology for all those 45 years that we are together. And it has been working with excellent results. So I'll request everyone to put your phones aside. You are spending time. You have taken the trouble of coming and listening to me. So let's get the maximum out of it. Participate with me, ask me questions, share your views with me, agree or disagree with me. We'll work it out together. While we are working together, I'll be introducing 3 or 4 concepts for you to think about. They work very well, excellently. We'll share them together. I'll share my screen with everyone and have. Can everyone see the screen with me here?
Yeah, it's visible.
Wonderful. Friends, I'm introducing the ideology happy life, healthy life. Before I go on, you must have heard your parents or seniors talking about whenever they are blessing, khush raho, tandurust raho. That is what I'm talking about. Happy life, healthy life. There is a slogan in English, health is wealth. Yes, health is wealth. That is what I am talking about. If we want to live healthy, we need to be, what's, just second. Um, how do I change the slide?
Yeah, just use arrow key on the bottom end button.
Yes, thank you. So my ideology is very simple and it works 100%. If I want to be healthy, I got to be happy. Easier said than done. My body is the only person which comes to me at the time of birth and lives with me till I die. Well, I hope to be living 104 years, so will be with me for 104 years. And during this journey, I'll be meeting a lot of people. But friends, unfortunately, what happens, we don't do justice to our body. It is our temple. We must worship it. I can assure you, unless somebody has got a genetic disease or a chronic illness, 80% of the sicknesses that we have, we can eradicate simply by looking after our body and being happy. Give it a thought. I'll show you how. Let me introduce the first concept. At any given time, you, me, anybody for that matter, from the time of their birth onwards until they die, every one of us live in 3 houses: our mind, our body, and the environment around us. We can never be living in isolation just with the mind. These 3 things will always be with us. Everything gets cooked up here Mind is the ruler, the way we live, our style of living. And it gets impacted, affected by the internal environment and the external environment that we have. Looks easy to say. I'll explain you what environment I'm talking about. But before we do that, let me introduce the second concept, which we all practice, experience every day, but never pay attention to. Most of the time, at any given time, we are always among three generations. You, your children, your grandchildren. You, your children, your parents. Anytime we will be in three generations together. Think about workplace. If you're at workplace, you with 20 years of experience, your supervisor, your boss, your manager may be, or the owner of the business may be 40 years experience, and you may have a fresh trainee from the college, a new trainee who has just come out of the college and has got no experience. Three generations working together. Where you are living, you may find that you have got young people living across the street opposite your house, different age group on your right or on your left to work with. And when we talk about these three houses that we are living in together, my mind, body, and environment, any one of them affected affects the other two. Think about, you may have a small argument with your neighbor, it will affect entirely. Somebody is sick at home, the entire house gets affected. Very easy to say, no, I am not affected, but it does. One wrong action can affect everything put together. I'm sure you will agree too, you will think about it. Let me introduce the environment first so that we can discuss and talk more. I try to divide the environment into two different sections, internal and external. Internal are in my control, external are beyond my control. Let's look into the internal one together. My thought process, I'm positive or negative? My emotions, am I jealous kind of a person? Am I easygoing, happy-go-lucky type? I'm short-tempered. I like to take power in my hands. I'm bossy. What kind of a person I am? What emotions do I have? My mental state. I'm happy, I'm excited, I'm in grief. What's happening? In general, my attitude, my arrogance, my awareness. What do I think of myself or the people around me? Sometimes my ignorance, my expectations, outcomes I'm looking from. All these affect my mind. When they affect my mind, I respond accordingly. So if there is an argument, there is a discussion going on, I want to prove I am right, I am one up, I am the best, I will be behaving accordingly. My response will be in that fashion. It affects, it impacts. If we try to look into the external environment, they are beyond my control. I'm talking about people around me. Like we 6, 7, 8 people are together here. How you think what I'm talking about, stupid way, old man, or yes, making sense. Your individual perspective. Place, location. I'm in house, I'm on the street, I'm at office place, I'm in the neighborhood, I'm in a spiritual forum, or I'm in a party, social get together. Where am I? What's the situation? Law of the land. What the law of the land says. If you hit somebody, please stay there till the ambulance comes or the police comes. Otherwise, it will be a hit and run case against you. Law of the land. 40-kilometer zone, school zone, drive 40 kilometer, even though you're getting late for your work. And while we are talking about these things, it always comes to my mind the generational gap. Folks, remember we started talking about that we have three generations living together willingly, unwillingly, rightly. We like it or we don't like it. We are always in that kind of an environment. Leaving little bit here and there. Suppose I go to seniors club, so I'll find most of the people of my age group, unless there are people who are serving us food and things are of different age groups and are part of that particular thing to work with. But what actually happens, we tend to forget these. They go back into our mind. Our ego, our arrogance, our attitude, our mental state takes over. I'm not trying to promote here that don't have ego, uh, you can't be an arrogant person, you don't have an attitude. No, you can, but learn to manage them, learn to analyze, and I'll explain you what I'm talking about. Look into the benefits. If my mind is positive, if I'm thinking right, I'm not going by my attitudes or one up or whichever way you like to call it. I am improving my physical well being. I am improving my environment. पुत्र खुश रहो तंदुरुस्त रहो मैं खुश भी रहूंगा तंदुरुस्त भी रहूंगा I'll be happy as well as healthy. Why? My mind is at peace. When my mind is at peace, my body responds positive. I get better sleep, I have increased energy, I'm physically feeling well, I'm motivated, I'm active, I'm inspired, I'm happy to do anything and everything. My body is peace, my mood is boosted, my environment is positive, happiness around. And you can think about, just experience. If you're in that state of mind, how will you feel? You will not feel you are having blood pressure. You won't feel you are under stress. You won't be having body ache or anything to work with. You are full of energy. You are full of activeness. You want to participate. You want to enjoy. You want to be at the top of the situation. But things can go the other way. If I look into the negative side, today stress is a very common word. Depression is a very common word. I started hearing it after coming to Australia when I was about 40 years of age. I haven't heard these words before. People are anxious. They get angry on small things. They're scared. But when I'm in that kind of a mental state, my body reacts accordingly. I'll be cranky. चिड़चिड़ा हो रखा है मैं I'm just behaving lazy, total crankiness around, lack of sleep, couldn't sleep. Sometimes you get up in the morning and say, oh, I couldn't sleep yesterday whole night, I was thinking about this or thinking about that. It happens. We can't avoid it. But folks, we can minimize it. We can reduce it by changing our thought process. Why should I have digestive issues or muscle tension? I don't have to be under stress. I started talking about my body needs discipline. My body doesn't need pressure. Yeah, there are situations, there are times when my body may have certain pressures, but I have tried to make it in a way that I am in a position to minimize that pressure. Because if I will keep my body in discipline, I'll be living healthy. And if I want to live healthy, I have to be happy. And with my positive mind, I'll be happy. Very, very difficult, easier said than done. I need to be thinking about it. But I practice it every day. I'm absolutely heart and healthy. No issues, not to worry about. Willing to go 5 kilometers walk every day and work 10, 12 hours and everyone can work. Because my life's experience says people who have strong relationships, positive relationships, they live better, they live happy. And I'm sure every one of you are. They live healthy. I wouldn't say they live longer, but they do live longer. Folks, this philosophy works. No medication is required. You will forget what Panamex or Panadols are. Your blood pressure will never rise. You will not feel lazy. You will not feel cranky. You will not be a nuisance to other people. Try to think positive. Easier said than done. But yes, we can definitely 100%. Some people think about purpose of living. Some people think of source of living. That's how I think. Earning money is source of living, not the purpose of living. Well, people need to decide. I wouldn't be deciding for them. For me, successful life is happy life. For some, successful life can be different. Because happy life, I decide. Successful life, others think about it. Do I need to be thinking about others feel whether Surinder is a successful person or a failure? If I am happy. So we need to be thinking and deciding on these things whether we got to be leading a happy, healthy life, or we need to be living with stress, depression, anxiety, etc., etc., to work with. I'm sure people may agree with me because when we have good relationships, folks, whether we are talking about at work or we are talking about in the neighborhood or we are talking in the family, it provides me a lot of things. Think about all emotional support that I need many times. What happens? Whenever you go to a social function, you go to a party, or you go to a spiritual forum, what is the first thing that you try to look at? Or do I know anyone? Is there a friend? Like I'm sure when you must have come to this particular webinar, you must be thinking, who all will be coming? Do I know anyone before? Like we were talking about together. I'm looking for emotional support because if there are people there, I'm in good hands to work with. It gives me moral support. I can talk freely. It gives me sense of security. Yes, it gives me sense of security. I can ask, Mr. Verma, I didn't bring my car. My wife dropped me. Can you drop me home? And I'm sure he will. Many critical times I need some help. I don't want to feel lonely that I've got no one. And folks, your friend living 10 kilometers away will take half an hour to come. Your neighbor is just a call away. He or she will be with me within 2 minutes' time if I need help. Why not? Why can't I behave, work in a manner whereby my neighbor is always willing to help me, think good about me? Again, easier said than done. If I give you an example here at this particular point, when we moved into Mount Waverly about 25 years back, because my wife was a senior science and maths school teacher, everyone in the court was thinking that we may be people with attitude and snobbish people. We came in, our court has got about 18 houses. My wife suggested to me, Surinder, let's do a small event, go and drop out a small leaflet, meet your new neighbors. So in the weekend, everyone came, we introduced things. Friends, I have not looked back. Last 25 years, we have the best court. We know everyone, each house individually, personally. We meet them every time. If you're going for a walk, you will probably have to shake hands or say hello to 20 people. They know everything about us and we know about them. Few neighbors have changed over a period of time, but that's how this runs too, simply by managing. So my first suggestion or my first mantra that I try to talk about, folks, if I try to summarize it, build, develop, and manage your relationships in a positive manner. Because if we will live in harmony with others, we'll be living a better life. We'll be leading a happy life. And if we are leading a happy life, we have got no stress, no tensions, no challenges. We'll be living in harmony with others. There is no one who will be shouting at me or having a disharmony with me because I am managing my performance to work with. People say it is not easy, it's difficult. Think about small argument with your partner, and for next 3 days or 3 hours, things are not right. He or she having high blood pressure because of the tension, and you having all the mess here, and house is in a mess and no food on the table, and things are. But if we would have managed our actions well, thought about it, things would be as good as possible to work with. And it happens. I suggest you don't have to worry about anyone, everyone. Just 5 relationships are good enough. If you can manage 5 different relationships, you're doing wonderful. But before I go on to that, I ask everyone, you can only choose your partner. Well, at my times, even partners were being chosen by parents. And I'm sure most of us have gone through that one. But your children, my children, oh, they're selecting their own partner. But can you choose your mother-in-law? Can you choose your father-in-law? Can you choose your brother-in-law? Can you choose your sister-in-law? No, you cannot. You can only choose your partner. You cannot choose brother-in-law, sister-in-law, father-in-law. They all come as a part of the package. They come as the gift hamper along with your partner. Some people think differently. More, some naughty kids, what they'll do after marriage, well, they'll take a transfer to another town. I just want to live with my partner and take care of things, and let's not worry about all other relatives. But they forget that if you want to keep your partner happy, if you want to manage your relationship with your partner, you got to be making sure that she is happy with your behavior in terms of her relatives. She would like you to be good to her mother and good to her father, and in vice versa. You still got to be managing. No? You can think of living in Turek or in South Yara or in Glen Waverley or anywhere you like. But you can choose. Can you choose who's going to be your neighbor? No, I don't want Jack next living next to me, or a young couple in live-in relationship living opposite to me, or a Greek family living left. No, you can't. You can only choose a location, a house to live in, but you cannot choose your neighbors. You've got to be managing and living with them. You can choose to work for company A or company B or company C, but can you choose, no, I will not sit on this seat, or I'll not work, I don't want John to be sitting next to me, or I don't want George to be my manager? No, you cannot. You need to be working with the team. 3 different generations that they'll be there. I would like to be friends to Mahendra Goyal and Suryaji and Mrs. Pushpa Ravi and other people too. But whether they want to be friends with me or not in my hands. So, folks, if I can manage my relationship with my immediate family, with my extended family, with my neighbors, with my friends, with my workmates or my customers if I'm in business, when I'm talking about workmates, my colleagues that I'm working with, or my supervisor, or I'm in accounts department, people in the operations department, people in the HR department, I need to be able to manage my relationships with them. I'll be leading a stress-free life. I'll be leading a happy life. Everyone will be there to help me. Oh, come on, Surinder, what do you want? How can I help you? You think about. You analyze your situation, folks. What do you think? Maybe at my age and your age, we don't need these 5 relationships. We only need 4 because we are not working. So workmates or work associates are not there unless, of course, my family is running a business and I'm part of that particular business to work with. I'm just having fun. We need to be thinking about it. I hope I'm making sense to everyone. Uh, Please feel free to be talking to me, share your views to work together. I always keep in mind that we have got 3 generations living together. And I look into this, think before I talk, think positive, go with the flow. Sometimes when you visit a friend's house, they may ask, you want tea or coffee? Suppose I say coffee, and friends may not have coffee at that time because they're more tea drinkers. So I always say by host choice. And if somebody says cha piyoge, you want tea? I understand the person is saying say no because he or she is not in a mood to be making tea at that time to work with. So folks, we need to be thinking about the situation. Remember I was talking about location, situation and other things to work with. The most challenging part for you and me when managing these 5 relationships is that we have no control on their behavior. I don't know how my son is going to be reacting to a situation, or my wife is going to be reacting, or my daughter-in-law will be reacting, or tomorrow my grandchild maybe. So I need to be managing my performance. I need to be educating myself. I need to be studying them, what they like, what they don't like, how do they react to a particular situation, so that I can manage my performance in a way that our relationship is in harmony, is cordial, is strong, is positive towards me. Ha, dad, ha, granddad, or whatever it may be. Because if our relationship is positive, in harmony, I've got no tension, no stress, not thinking anything, but living happy. And when I'm living happy, I'm taking away lot of health issues. I'm living healthy. I will have no sleepless night because I had a small argument with my son, or I will not be having going hungry or having blood pressure or other things. No, because everything is good. I'm working well. If they like on television to watch footy, let's watch footy together rather than sitting over in our rooms and trying to look into our own program to work with. Why not? We can sit together, enjoy together, also learn something about the footy. I mean, not to be talking, but in my house, my one son is Geelong favorite and the other one is North Melbourne, and my wife goes for the Carlton. So I have got no team. What my role is, I try to make sure that they don't fight among themselves when the match is going on, and creating harmony while we are working together, and it works well.
Very thoughtful.
Many times, it is our ignorance. We want to behave well. We want to keep the harmony, but our ignorance, our unawareness, and as I mentioned before, our attitude, our arrogance, they come in between. Why me? Why not you do it? Hang on. You can't say that to me. I'm your senior. Oh, we have been friends together for a long time. Think about it, folks. Keep those three generations in mind. Let's try to understand them. I'm not saying don't have your attitude, don't have your self respect. We must maintain everything. But manage them in a way that we are using them skillfully, we are using them at the right time, we are using them in the right manner, and we are talking properly without offending others. Put ourselves into their shoes. Sorry, putting a sentence in Hindi at this point. A mother-in-law telling to the daughter, "Oh, tenu eh bhi nahi sikhaya teri maa ne." What does that mean? Even when we join a new office, we have an orientation. So we have a young lady joining us. Why can't we have an orientation? Come, Radhika, I'll teach you how do we do things, and let's do this way. One simple change, the way we are talking, we can save a lot of disharmony in the family to work with. Such things happen in small businesses. It has been a chronic problem in small businesses. Partner and children, when come to dad's business, they think they're the bosses. And they start talking to the employees with 10 years experience in sometimes undesirable manner, not realizing who they are talking to. They know nothing about the business and they are talking to somebody who has been in that particular job for 10 years. There is a thought process here. Think about you are the supervisor, you are the manager, or you're running a business. What do you think about subordinates working with you or your employees? Do you think they work for you or they work with you? Just little difference. The day you will start thinking they work with you, life will be better, business will be better, rather than you thinking they work for you. They work with you, each one has a role to play. And we all work towards the profitability or return on investment or whatever the mission statement of that particular business is. Nobody works for no one. Try, think about it. That's what we are trying to work with, folks. I think I'll come to this later on, but first let me try to conclude a bit so that I can raise few things together here. I've tried to put four things together. We are always living in three houses: mind, body, and environment. Environment is beyond my control. My thinking in my mind is under my control, but I need to be managing it. And when I think, it directly impacts my body. My body is my temple because that's going to be with me for all the years I'm going to be living. So I must worship it. I must take care of it. And I can do it by channelizing my thoughts, using my mind properly, positively, considering the environment, and then acting. The second thing we talk about, there are five different relationships that are important for us: our immediate family, our extended family, our neighbors, our friends, and our workmates or customers. You choose in your age group what is important, who's important for you, who your immediate relatives are. Learn about them. Nobody can live in isolation. Let's understand them, manage our performance, make ourselves compatible so that they always say, "Oh, Surinder, come, Surinder, let's talk about, oh, he's a good person, he's a good friend." They talk positive about us to work with, which means I am suggesting everyone, let's live in harmony with others. If I'll keep that in my mind, my actions, my response will be different. My thought process will be different. I need moral support. I need emotional support. I cannot live without it. And I do not have control in any of these relationships on their behavior, on their thought process to work with. If they also start thinking like me, life will be over. All good. But no, we are governed by our attitude, we are given by our thought process, what outcomes and what expectations we are looking into. I want to be a winner. We need to be thinking about. So, folks, what we try to help each other by sharing our experience, life experience, whatever age group we are in, by bringing those small issues which create disharmony among us, whether we are in family or extended family or among friends. We discuss, we try to, we bring that, we educate, we make people aware that look, this kind of a behavior can create this kind of a disharmony. Let's repair it. Let's try to find out a solution to it to work with. Now, as I gave you that little example of mother-in-law and daughter-in-law, I mean, to very precisely, just talking to you while we are discussing it together, I shared that story with a number of people around. And you know what the positive outcome is? That many mother-in-laws have stopped using that sentence and talking about let's work it out together. And many daughter-in-laws are feeling, oh, my mother-in-law is good. Um, she's trying to help me, teach me, learn what happens in the family. So everyone who listens to it starts thinking about it. Oh, hang on. If I say in Hindi, hang on, banda कहते ठीक ही रहा है. Oh, Surinder is saying right. Let me try it out. It will work. And we start seeing the positive results to work with. And folks, like we are 10 people here together at this point, if we all think about one particular solution to a problem, what happens to the 11th person or among us if we come across such an issue or it is an issue for us to handle? We have got 10 options, 10 solutions available. Hang on. What Mahendraji said on that day, I think that will work for me when I'm talking to. And let me adopt that and I'll start working that fashion. We can create awareness among the society, among our members as to what small issues can raise problems among these kind of people that we need to be managing relationships to work with. But I need to be first thinking, do I want to lead a healthy life? Yes. If I want to lead a healthy life, then I must lead a happy life. Yes. If I have to lead a happy life, I must have harmony in my relationships. Relationships with my immediate family, relationship with my extended family, relationship with my friends, with my neighbors. To give you another quick example before I request everyone to ask me questions, I hope, Surya, I have got 1 more minute to talk about. When I got married, I was living with my parents. So my wife, before going to her school, she'll get up in the morning, come and say hello or good morning to my mother and to my father, making tea, etc., etc. So it came to my mind in a week or 10 days' time. Hang on, I mean, what she will feel. She says hello to my parents every day, and I'm not talking to her parents. Folks, 2 weeks later, I made it a point that I'll call to her parents once a week and say hello to them or visit them or talk to my brother-in-laws and sister-in-laws. She started feeling happy about it. Our relationship became more together. Our bonding increased. And if I tell you the positive effect, even after 40 years today, if I ring up my brother-in-law or other people, I mean, we are like friends. They're happy to go out of their way to talk to help me, and to work with. Simply managing my performance, keeping my eyes and ears open, and seeing what's happening around, what can make my partner happy, and let's go about it. I'm sorry, I'm going overboard to work with. That's how things are. I get little carried away with the passion that I have. Please feel free. Ask me any questions. React to. Tell me, Surinder, no, you are no good. You are not good. Or Surinder, you're making some sense. No, I will try. Let's see how it works. Please.
Yep. I think, thank you so much, Surinderji. You're speaking from your heart, hence we can relate. We are bonded to your thoughts. We are into that zone where you want us to be, and you have hit the nail at the right spot that to live a healthy life, you need to be happy first. And to live happy, what are the factors? External factors. Internal, you have a little bit control over, but external, you don't. How,
Absolutely.
how to work towards those relationships bit, which is very critical. You gave us a boundary to think about and the priority to think about without thinking in chaos and thinking infinity relationship to take care of. You have given very precise boundaries to think towards. And in a busy life, when we are not happy and we still want to live happy, we take support of supplements or some other kind of entertainment which are not bringing true happiness within yourself. So you have definitely given us food for thought tonight. We'll definitely ponder upon this, think over it, and reflect and hit that nail at the right spot, that how we remain happy. So I highly appreciate this very important topic. It's from the title or sound of the flyer, people may think, oh, this is a usual self-help or motivational speech and all, but these are important, real, practical, impactful issues of the society we need to definitely give serious attention to, because once we achieve everything in a life, we come to square one, which is this: how to live happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we
So yeah,
reflect and say, oh, we wasted all our 30, 40 years of life. We did not spend on the critically crucial thing,
absolutely.
time on other things.
So really at this point, just give me 30 seconds to share it with. what we try to do, we try to meet once every 3 or 4 weeks together. We bring one issue to discuss in that look, this issue can create, or in the form of a story, disharmony in the relationship, and try to discuss together as to what possibly, if I'm in that situation, what I will do or what others will. Like this, we try to collect 15, 20 solutions as people together are, and try to educate people. Ki, look, if you manage your performance, you decide which way it works, it is going to be helping. So if any of the members would like to participate, contribute, and be part of the teaching or learning process to work with, we'll be very happy to work.
So what do you run? Sorry, how we can? What is this mission?
We have 40 people at present who participate together. We bring one story in 3 weeks. We meet for half an hour, 45 minutes. Everyone brings their solution or their option, that if they are in that situation, how they will deal with it. So that if tomorrow any one of us has to face that kind of a situation, then we have got 30, 40, 50 solutions up our sleeves, and we can manage our performance and ensure that proactively we can avoid having a disharmony in the relationship and continue living happily to work with.
Please share those details. I can share in WhatsApp as
Yeah,
well.
fair enough.
And people
Thank you.
out definitely. I'll ask one question from the chat from Vimalji. Vimalji, you want to ask directly, or shall I read one for you? So the question from Vimalji is: in challenging environments, how can we maintain inner harmony without being negatively influenced by others? What are the common barriers that prevent people from managing relationships consciously, and how can we overcome them?
Initially, a difficult situation, but what I talk about or started with, folks, try to minimize it. Try to control your emotions. It's not easy to work with, it is difficult. But once you have decided that you are going to be on this particular path, believe me, it will take you maximum 2 weeks. You will start working and results will start showing step by step, but it does work. Somebody asked me about Surinderji, I have got diabetes. How can I control it? I said, well, it's a difficult question for me to answer, but the way I work with it is, if I'm going to discipline my body, I will make sure that I don't get diabetes. But if I have got the diabetes to work with, I will follow the medical practitioner's instructions, advice religiously, seriously, thereby not putting pressure into my body. If I don't take the medicine that has begun, what I'm doing? I'm putting my body under pressure. If I'm not supposed to eat more than certain amount of sweets or sugar to work with, what I'm doing? I'm putting my body under pressure. I'm not managing it. I'm not keeping it under discipline. Thereby, I am not taking those steps that I would like to be healthy, or in the situation where am I. Just think that, yes, I'm going to do this. You may not be able to do 100% on the first go because you get bugged up or your mind is thinking differently. But the moment you decide in your mind, no, I have to worship my body, I'm not going to put it under stress. Things are beyond your control. Folks, somebody parked their car in front of my driveway, my neighbor, and I had an appointment to go. I couldn't take my car out, so I went in and knocked at George, can you please? Mrs. George, can she said, Surinder, George is in the toilet. He actually was going, but he just had a quick call. How do I answer? Will it help me by raising my voice and doing things, etc.? I patiently waited for 5 minutes. George came out, said sorry to me. Uh, he cleared the driveway. I drove and went. I reached 10 minutes late to my appointment. I explained the situation. Things were right. things beyond my control. If I would have started fighting with him, things wouldn't have worked out. But we need to be thinking, how does it work?
Yep. Thank you, Surendraji.
I hope I have been able to answer some part of the question.
Definitely. Ravi, you can ask your next question.
Hi, Surinderji. What a wonderful and thoughtful session. I just have some points to make. I really admire how you put this through. Uh, I've recently stumbled upon something called as metacognition, which basically is to sort of introspect our line of thought and how we approach things. And it actually profoundly helped me build strong relationships. So the way it works is normally whenever we approach someone, we start with a set of assumptions that we have about that person or that circumstance. And those are usually because of our life experiences and how we have dealt with similar people, and brain wants to simplify things. So it's going to do all that work for us. And then
Absolutely.
we use those assumptions and then we take some actions on interacting with the other person. And then if those outcomes are favorable, we think it worked. But a lot of times we might get it wrong, the favorables. So then we go and we work through the assumptions. What I've found the best way is to not start with assumptions,
Yes.
be a very good listener, understand that person, and there's no rush. Okay, because if you want to lay foundation of strong relationship, I think we have to invest our time and only
Absolutely.
then you can get
Absolutely.
that outcome. So please avoid the hesitation to build strong relationships right away by just being very extrovert and thinking that you can conquer it. Sometimes going slow and investing in a relationship would probably help you achieve those outcomes of harmony. So that's all I wanted to say, but overall I love the session. Thank you, Surinderji.
Absolutely, Ravi, you're absolutely right. That's what I was talking about. That you can't live in isolation. What you do when your mother-in-law or father-in-law or your colleagues have come as a part of the package to you when you've joined a new job or in new relationship, you got to be learning about them. You got to be understanding about them. You need to be finding out what they like, what they don't like, right? And then manage your performance. You are absolutely right. We start on assumption. We have
Mm.
perceived notions to work with that can go wrong.
Yeah. And sometimes it's not about you, it's about how the other person is receiving it. So no
Absolutely.
matter how good you are, you just
And we
have
have
to
no
accept the
control on their
reality.
performance.
Yeah, exactly. और वो सास बहू का जो आप example बोल रहे हो, the girls come from a different background. They
Yep.
have been raised very differently, and they're very easy to jump to conclusions, which I can understand why they would do it. Uh, but I think if they all invest in good learning and understanding of the people around, hopefully we can live in a much more harmonious
Yeah.
environment.
I think
Yep.
in that one, what you said, perception and coming with pre notions, that plays its own role to work with. But otherwise, with an open heart and an open mind, things are very easy and very nice to work with.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Thank you for making that suggestion.
Thank you, Ravi.
Thank you, Surinder.
Thank you. Surendraji, I'm conscious of time myself, but I would add one more point is what
Mhm.
I do to keep my inner peace is I treat my mental peace as a currency and I choose whether is my losing my mental peace is worth that situation, and that automatically brings in that attention awareness of why my mental peace is more important than by showing my emotions, anger or ego or whatever it may be. So I give highest priority to mental peace. That's one thing. And other attribute I practically practice day in day out is sometimes when Ravi also said that we come with some preoccupied thoughts about a person, but what I personally do is I go one layer deep to know a person. Then we can discover and interpret why the person is behaving differently. That person does not is not the person what we see in front of our face.
Yep.
We never go by face value, rather go by one layer deep. Is something wrong? How can I help you? How can I do differently to approach that situation? Why this person is being, as you very well said, and I'm taking very good notes of what you described, is sometimes what we expect from the person, we need to show ourselves, practice ourselves before they can expect from the other person. Like
Yep, absolutely.
good
Sometimes it happens to have. that our expectation or outcome that we are looking into, we start behaving and achieving those things, not realizing that they are not in the right perspective that we should be doing it. That's why I mean I try to recommend to younger generation to look, uh, earning money is the source of living and not the purpose of living. Let's try to create a balance. Those are those some of us are very lucky, those who can do their passions and their source of living in the same thing together, things become very good. But everyone is not so fortunate that they will have their passions and source of living working together. So it becomes important that we create a balance to work with. For smaller things probably I would have taken one small other story of a young couple, but we will leave it for some other time to work with. Thank you, Surya.
Any final question from any of the audience who missed out? Any final question from anybody? Any comments? Nothing. I can share just two practical tips. There are hundreds. I'm just sharing two out of my personal notes. Is if I'm out of bed before my wife, for example, first thing in the morning, my rest of the day is happy, naturally. So that's coming out of the bed. And second thing is if I'm making my bed first thing in the morning, as soon I'm out of the bed, I'm making my own bed, folding things and all, keeping things where they belong. That brings natural. So sometimes it's our own responsibility how we create our environment, how we design our environment to make it harmonious or
Absolutely, absolutely.
want to desire in our life. Yeah.
Yes, true.
So with that note, if no further questions or
Uh,
comments,
Surinder ji, I just wanted to add, sorry,
Yeah.
Bhaiya. Um, there's one fundamental aspect which I think would really help, in achieving these harmonious relationship is understanding how gender behaviors are structured. Okay, so I think it's an irony of Indian society that boys are not taught on how to understand and respond to women's emotions and vice versa. Okay, and fundamentally, and biologically and evolutionary speaking, men and women operate very differently. Men are very logical, and women requires emotional validation, and it's just how they are structured different. I think men often, like मेरा अगर example बोलूं सुरेंद्र जी, तो in the beginning of my relationship, मेरी शादी में, I was arguing everything logically, but then over the time I understood that regardless of the words my partner is saying, she's actually alluding to a different emotional need. और जितना जल्दी वो अंडरस्टैंड होता है हार्मोनी रिलेशनशिप में उतनी जल्दी आती है, तो ये जेंडर स्टडी इज ऑल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग. एंड आई थिंक इसके ऊपर अगर आई थिंक सूर्या भैया ने क्लास भी ली थी पहले,
topic of
इफ
it,
यू कैन allude about it.
it's a topic of its own, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
रवि जी, मैं इसमें ये कहूँगा कि आप जो कह रहे हैं बिल्कुल सही बात है।
हाँ,
आप अगर मेरा एग्जांपल लें तो मैं 45 years बिफोर आई कुड सी दोज थिंग्स हैपनिंग एंड कैन वर्क विद।
yeah.
हमारे पेरेंट्स का भी इसके अंदर थोड़ा सा रोल रहता है।
हम्म,
व्हाट काइंड ऑफ ए कल्चर वी क्रिएट एट होम, that that makes lot of things to work with, and that's the purpose behind is, as we were talking about that little example of mother-in-law and daughter-in-law to work with.
हम्म,
They've started thinking in their mind, hang on,
हम्म,
why not? And if like this the words start spreading around, then we are educating people. We are bringing them out of that preconceived notions that one may have and making them think proactively, why not do this way? Why
हम्म,
not work? And well, let's say that things don't grow in a day's time, but if we all put in our effort together, I'm sure a time will come when, yes, we'll be a better society. And my international experience, right from China down to America to worldwide, it is not in the Indian community that we are talking about.
yeah.
It is in many communities that these things, you won't even believe. I mean, I can't say those things that in this particular forum, that when I was an educator and having students from 20 different countries and of different age groups and in different kind of relationships to work together, what kind of situations, problems, and other things that they are going through or they have to pass through or are happening, how they are managing the relations. That's where I've started learning all those things and coming up that, folks, we
Mm,
need to be managing our performance. It is most easiest thing that I can manage my performance rather than telling, they say, I'm really smart, I can fix everyone. No, let me be intelligent and take care of myself. Things will work. That's how I feel,
excellent.
folks. If we manage our performance, we'll be doing good.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to me. And sorry if I said something which may offend people.
No,
Please
not
excuse me for that.
at all. So thank you so much, Surinder ji, for taking your precious time, sharing your life wisdom. And as a community, we all are so proud to have you on this forum tonight. And as well as we expect from the wider community, those who are in this stage of life where they have earned, experienced everything and want to give back to the community, to please come forward into this forum, share your wisdom. Even if you can change one person's life, even if you can take one idea from such webinars,
Absolutely.
these webinars are worth. And we are all together into this. We are all collectively contributing this. We are working towards a better society and better Victorians. So with that note, thank you once again, Surinderji, for wonderful food for thought tonight. We'll
Thank you.
and we'll love to hear more from you on more diverse, more deeper topics in coming webinars.
Feel free, always available. Thank you.
Thank you so much. With that note, good night, everyone. Those who are watching on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and share. And sabko namaste. Good night.